Fantastic. So, a really big welcome back to the online VTCT Hair and Barbering Collective. If you're joining us for the first time, a really big welcome. My name is Mark Raymond. I am the Business Development Manager for Barbering, and my colleague is...
Hi, good morning. I'm Nicola Steinbach and I am the Business Development Manager for hairdressing. So great to have so many of you joining us today.
And if you're joining us from the before the summer, then a massive welcome back to you as well. What we'd like to do, just to get started and kind of have a little bit of fun, in the chat box, we want you to say, what was your summer highlight? And then what are you looking forward to in the new term? And if anybody says the October half-term holidays, they'll be in trouble. We'll put you on report. No, but just shoot us. What was your summer highlight? It can be absolutely anything. If you went away, if you did something interesting, just let us know. And then what are you looking forward to in the new term now?
I'm excited to see what everybody got up to in the summer. That's
yeah. Either people did something really big and it's taking them loads of time,
or nobody wants to tell us,
or nobody wants to own up. Oh, here we are. Godson's wedding. Oh, that's good. 2 weeks in Barbados. Oh, that was a nice one. Oh, very good.
And also looking forward to developing skills and knowledge in hairdressing. You're in the right place for support on that. Rewind Scotland. Yeah, fantastic festival. And looking forward to loads of enthusiastic students. That's what we all want, isn't it? Lots of enthusiastic students.
And Alison's summer evenings. So, yeah, that we did get a few of those.
Nice. So we've got some camping. It was definitely camping weather, I think, over the summer. Pro Beauty North and Salon Excel coming up. So we will be talking about that today, which is fantastic. Oh, another one, looking forward to Salon International in October. I wonder if you've seen our slides for today and knew that we were going to be talking about Salon International.
Spending time with family. Yeah, that's always a really good one, isn't it?
Loving this, starting the VTCT course at High Point. Lots of new student highlights.
Vicky attended the VTCT Awards.
Oh, yes, the Excellence Awards. Who was the lucky person that got to go to Harrods handbag shopping?
Yeah, nobody does it half there, do they? Harrods, eh?
Yeah.
New term, Christmas. Yeah, Christmas. Oh God, don't say Christmas. Yeah,
Sunny
the awards. Yeah, that's good. Oh, someone drove to the south of France. Oh, nice one. Oh, we got some really good ones there. Fantastic.
Yes, the awards. Teaching apprenticeships.
Leanne teaches apprenticeships, so that continued throughout the summer. We've got some updates for apprenticeships today as well, Leanne.
Yeah, can I just highlight on that Leanne has said that we had very successful EPA with 7 distinctions. That is absolutely fantastic to hear, out of 11 and all getting good passes. So that's amazing. Oh, Kerry couldn't afford to buy the handbag though, so never mind. Maybe have to work a bit more then to get the handbag.
It's always worth going to Harrods, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And then Rebecca, highlight 2-year-old birthday. Looking forward to starting teaching AEB hair courses. Fantastic, brilliant. Well, again, it's great to have you all with us, and it's really fantastic to see that you did some great things over the summer. If you were working, then hopefully you at least got some time for yourself. And if you weren't working, that you're feeling refreshed and ready to go for the new term. So our agenda today, and really we have an absolutely packed agenda. We've got our guest speaker, Mark Izzard from the AHT. Then we've got our business development manager for apprenticeships, our very own Jodie Jones. And then we're going to be talking about the Hair and Barbering Collective Live. We're going to be telling you what's happening at Salon for us. We've got a We Love Inspiration Day, a day with Andrew Barton. We've got the Collective Live, and then we're going to be having a qualifications update on the VRQ revamp. And also we're going to be asking you to join our stakeholder consultation. So lots of stuff to get on with. And so we don't hang out for too long, I'm going to hand you straight over to Nicola.
Okay, thank you. So for those of you who are new to the collective, one of the key parts for us is bringing guest speakers along to every meeting that we believe really will bring some value and information to share with you all as a community. So today is no exception, and we are kicking off with our very first guest speaker of the new term. And we're joined by Mark Izzard. And Mark Izzard, I've had the pleasure of working with for kind of the last 2 years now in my capacity of as an AHT judge. But Mark is really well known within the industry. He is the owner-director of a Francesco Group salon up in Bramall, or down in Bramall, depending on where you live. He is an AHT judge. He has worked as an educator at the highest level and done a lot of creative work within his role within the Francesco Group, with L'Oreal Professional, absolutely everything. And he has such a unique perspective on the AHT and what it can do for you and your learners. So enough from me. I'm going to hand you over to Mark Izzard.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you so much for taking time to listen to me today. And Nicola, thank you so much for inviting me on. Would you mind putting the slide on for the AHT for me, please, Mark? Thank you. So, and just move on a little bit more for me. Thanks. So, I've been part of the AHT now for 17, 18 years. And when I first joined it, I just literally met my partner, who is the treasurer. And he invited me along, and I was like, oh my God, what's all this about? And I was literally blown away by what the AHT can offer. It was founded in 1963 by a group of hairdressers and teachers. So it's been around a long time, and I think it's one of the longest ones going. We used to be a lot in Blackpool with the NHF as well, but unfortunately they don't run their competitions anymore. I think most of those are photographic now. But the whole point of the AHT is to stretch your learners, give them opportunities, for development opportunities. And I've also found that since the new EPA qualification has come out, it really stands them in good stead for their EPA as well. So the aim is to support educators and develop their knowledge and skills through collaboration and professional development opportunities. I know that when I first moved to Manchester, I worked for City College Manchester, and then I worked for the Manchester College. And I found that by joining the AHT and being part of it, it really helped me on that a teacher assessor level to make sure that I was up to date with all the standards and what was going on. We have annually approximately 250 members made up of teachers, trainers and assessors. And we go across the whole of the subjects of hairdressing and the therapy subjects, media makeup. And it's just such a brilliant competition, and God, I can't think of a sort of thing to be part of as well. So your membership runs from the 1st of October to the 30th of September 2024, which is the whole year. And then it costs £30 per year. For that £30, that covers you for your membership. And you also are allowed to enter 2 students under each membership. We also host regular webinars and the annual conference for updates on skills, national standards, qualification and all our training initiatives as well as working with manufacturers and specialist demonstrations. Next slide. So the support for educators. So we do provide a range of opportunities for CPD, in hairdressing and in beauty therapy, and it's designed to make sure that we're keeping teachers and assessors on top of their game. And there have been some really interesting ones from Habia, VTCT, Sitting Guilds. We've had Andrew Barton, and more recently we've had transgender awareness as well, which has been such an important part to make sure that we're understanding the way that things are going at the moment, and to make sure that everybody is completely included, and making sure that education is inclusive all the way around. VHT can also provide bespoke skills. Me, for example, have been up at Kendall College recently, and I was up there doing a hairdressing demonstration where I was literally relating everything back to the skills from consultation, looking at face shape, hair analysis, and then going through. So that's something that we can do, and we do offer a whole range of different CPD as well. So the 2024 Learning Development Forum is at the Village Hotel, Blackpool. Save the day. It's amazing for networking. We have people from all over the country that come, and we include Ireland. There's the Northwest, the Northeast, we have the Midlands, and we also have the South as well. So we get people from all over the country, and again, it's amazing to network and sometimes to sound off, and also to learn and grow as well. Next slide for me. So the AHT student competitions, they're held regionally and annually, or annually and at a regional or national level. So we normally do the regionals first, and then it's normally around March, April time, we do the national. And on the national, we also have a direct entry as well, which I'll come on to later. So you've got a chance, if you have missed the regionals, you can still do a direct entry as well. So all the competitions are designed by industry experts, and to assess an individual's knowledge and practical skills, the employability attributes set against the criteria in a competitive timed environment. And this is where I think it really helps to click in with our EPA as well, because they're being watched, because it's related to exactly what they're going to be doing. It's a really good trial run for that. So again, not only is it great to help on the competition floor, and also to stretch and to put yourself out there, I think it's also great to learn for that EPA. If any of you know Sophia Hilton from Not Another Salon, she came up through the AHT comps and then went on to World Skills as well. And within the judges as well, we do have one of the World Skills judges and mentors as well, Robert Russo. So again, you know, you can just see here, I don't want to read off that PowerPoint completely, but, you know, the individuals benefit from fine tuning and critical skills, and it's valued by employers. I know for me, being an employer, this is something that I really look at when I've got students that are coming in, is how they've pushed themselves and how they've grown. Because on the shop floor, they have to come up against so many different types of clients, different personalities, that it really helps them cope under pressure. And again, this is why I just think it's so valuable for these students. I've coached students through the competitions in a assessor role, as well as being there and judging as well. And again, you know, everything is aligned to curriculum, current industry trends, and it's really important. Sometimes we get people that will sort of say, oh, you know, we didn't read the rules properly. Make sure you do go through those rules. Everything's on here. The PowerPoint is going to be sent out to you. But it is, you know, like we look at commercial standards, and we have people from all different areas of the industry. So we've got industry professionals, we've got, you know, we've got Nicola, we've got World Skills, everything. So we've got a real cross-section of people that give a real unbiased opinion. We also will offer feedback as well to learners, which I think is so important, on how they can improve for their next year and when they come back again, and really so they can make the best to really support the skills and development from competence to excellence as well. If you'd like to go on to the next slide for me, please. So we're open to all our age groups and all skill levels, right the way from level 1. We have schools level 1 blow dries going right the way through up to level 3. Barbering as well. And also the body paint is one of my favourites. Although I don't judge it, the work that you see absolutely blows you away, which Nicola, you've seen it as well, haven't you? It's amazing, the work.
Yeah, it's incredible. Very high standard.
And it's just beautiful to see, and also just to see how creative the learners are. Me as well, as a judge, I get so much inspiration from what I see them do. When you do come and you join and you bring your students, the teachers or assessors also have a opportunity to come and scrutineer, where you can actually be on the floor and actually watch everything going from start to finish and making sure that everything's going by the rules. And I think that's a really good thing to do. One, you learn so much that you can take back to your college by getting involved and helping you sort of go forward to make sure that your learners are achieving and getting wins and are winning, because it's brilliant to see. It really is. So the judging is carried out by a team of impartial specialists, experts who are very experienced. The finalists at regional level have the opportunity to compete at the national final, or you can go in through direct entry, like I said before, or as a national finalist, which is then sponsored by industry leaders in industry and in education as well. Competitors benefit from gaining confidence, resilience in their skills, and can assess personalised feedback offered by the expert judges. Like I said before, we love to sit there and meet the learners and go through everything with them and just point out, where they could improve. And everything's done in a really, really constructive way. We would never, ever belittle a learner because it's really hard to put yourself out there. I don't know if any of you have done the AHT or done competition work, but it's really hard to put yourself out there. And I think it's an amazing skill, and just to build learner confidence as well. Next slide for me, please. So here we have the competitions that are coming up this year. We have the Northwest on the 26th of February. That's at the Festival Hall at the Norbrick Castle. We used to be at the iconic Winter Gardens, but unfortunately after lockdown, they tripled our fee. So we have now moved to the Norbrick. Now the actual Norbrick, the festival arena is beautiful, and it's an amazing space to work in. We then have Midlands. That's on the 18th of March, and that's at Sandwell College. We then also have the Northeast, which is at Federation Brewery in Gateshead. We have Wales, which is on Monday the 5th. I'm not even going to pronounce, I think it's Merthyr Tydfil, but I do apologise anybody from Wales for my atrocious pronunciation. We have Wales North, which is to be confirmed. We split Wales into South and North because it is such a big area, and we do appreciate how hard it is to get colleges going across, because it can be such a big area. And then we have the Southwest, which is at Western College, and then we have the Southern, which is still being to be confirmed at the moment. We're still waiting on venues to come forward for those. So again, it's open to all students enrolled on core programmes for hairdressing, beauty therapy, or media, hair, makeup, nail services at an accredited centre. 2 competitors per full member from any one centre may be entered, and only in one area competition for each category. Any member submitting areas for the competitions must be current, paid in full, on the 2nd of February 2024, and is a full current member of the AHT. We've put the link on there to the AHT page. You've got the full rules, dates, and entry forms on there as well. And then also, I think on the next slide, we have got the email addresses for any contacts as well. So please, Jonathan Part, he's the National Treasurer. So anything to do with payments, then please speak to him. You've got Denise Johnson, who is the National competition director. She can actually answer any questions that you have, that you may just want to just double check on the rules. And you also have Sue Postlethwaite as well, and she's our national marketing director. And again, any more information you need from her as well. And again, if there's anything you need to know, even from a judge's point of view, you can find me on Instagram on markizard.hair as well. So please, if there's anything you need, any more information, then that's really great. I know I've probably sped through that really quickly, but I do know how much you've got on today. And I know that when I'm on Zoom, I kind of switch off quite quickly. So yeah, but please, if there's any questions, I would love to answer your questions now for you. But yeah, all I can say is the HT is brilliant. I know there's loads of different competitions out there that you can do with photographic, which are brilliant as well. The more the merrier. But the AHT really does offer so much. And with me being with it for 17 years, it's been amazing for me to help within my career. And even now, I tend to teach now. I do a lot of demonstrations still at colleges, and for FG as well, because I'm part of their advanced education team and their creative team. But even now, it still helps me. One, it inspires me so much from seeing the work that the learners turn out. And secondly, just to keep my hand in education and what's going on, because it's such a fast-moving industry at the moment, and it's really important that we do keep up to date with it.
Thank you, Mark. Said with such passion there as well, and I think that just to echo some of the things that you talked on there, I know that there is a really big emphasis on making sure that this competition work aligns with the curriculums for hairdressing, barbering and beauty, and I think another really key point is the building those learners' resilience to actually taking part. And I know you mentioned and linked it to the endpoint assessment there, which I'm sure Jodie will absolutely echo the sentiment that anything that we can do in the development of learners to help prepare them for the real world is so important. There have been a few comments and questions come through, so I'm going to fire them over to you, Mark. Okay, so first of all, we've had Tracy, who's just actually echoed, I think, our sentiment and said that she did work at Thomas Danby Leeds City College and she ran the competitions and said the AHT are great. So here, thank you for that. Victoria Miller, who is our L'Oreal professional education manager, she has said super interesting and would love to know when the Scottish Heat is because she'd love to come along. So was the Scottish Heat on that slide, Jonathan?
No, it's to be confirmed at the moment.
Jonathan, Mark, sorry, Jonathan.
Yeah, Marion's runs that area, and so we're just confirming at the moment when that's going to be held. Vicky, how are you? I've worked with Vic for years. She is absolutely amazing. I love her to death. I wish I could give her a big hug because it's been a long time since I've seen her. But yeah, as soon as we found out, Victoria, we will definitely let you know.
Super. And Gordon McCall is saying thank you, Mark, for the information as well.
Thank you.
And Janet Coates from Pivot Point, perhaps.
Oh, Janet, how are you, gorgeous?
Familiar person to you. She said, lovely to see you.
Oh,
and
lovely to hear from you.
Joy, I believe, is from Wales, actually, if I remember, has said thank you. And Vicky with another question again. How many entries do you get yearly?
So we get I'd say about 250 entrants a year across the whole range of competitions. As you know, Nicola, it's a busy day, isn't it?
My goodness, it's so busy, yeah.
And it's just brilliant to be part of. The energy on the day is amazing. It really is. I will say when the Scottish come down, they literally inject so much enthusiasm. It's unbelievable.
Yes, go the Scots. Natalie Watkins has a question, which we might have to follow up separately. Mark just says, how can we apply to host the Southern London Heats?
So if you want to email either Denise Johnson or Sue Postlethwaite, then they will be able to direct you on what to do, etc., etc. It'll be great to do. There's just issues sometimes kind of with health and safety and electrics that we need to cover. with you, but they can take everything through. But we're always looking for people to host, and we're also looking for people to get involved as well. You know, our doors are always open for people to get involved.
Super. Okay, well, thank you so much, Mark. For everyone that's on the call, all the information that you've seen today with all of the follow-up contact details, the dates and everything will be sent on to you. And everyone's contact details is on there, and we'll make sure that you've got Mark's Instagram links as well. Mark, it has been a pleasure having you with us today, and I shall look forward to seeing you at a regional event sometime soon.
Absolutely.
So
guys, thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time today. All right, take care. Have a good academic year. Bye.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mark. That was excellent. And as Nicola said as well, the passion that Mark obviously has for that. So on the slides, you will be sent out all of the information. So if you want to kind of link up with Mark, he did mention his Instagram address, and also there are the email addresses there as well. So we move on to our next guest this morning. Our guest is Jodie Jones, and Jodie is a work colleague of both myself and Nicola. She is the business development manager for apprenticeships, and Jodie this morning is going to be sharing all the latest news on the hairdressing and barbering standards, and we are really pleased to have Jodie here with us this morning. So over to you, Jodie.
Thanks, Mark. I love that there's fireworks on my slide.
Well, I thought that was the only thing
Brilliant.
that was appropriate for you, Jodie.
Oh, love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for a lovely introduction as well, just to say that it's such a pleasure to be invited to the collective, and I've watched them all, but to actually be here, it really does feel like a close community that everyone is a part of. So as Mark and Nicola have already said, welcome back to everybody that has been following along with the collective to this point, and just so pleased to have everybody here that is brand new, because I think it's one of those things, once you join, you never leave. So yeah, thank you so much for having me today. So we can go into the next slide, Mark. Thank you. This was really my introduction page, which I'm very grateful that Mark has actually covered most of it for me, because one of the most awkward things is introducing yourself. So we can go straight into the next one, Mark. Thank you. All right. So as Mark did mention there, I am National Business Development Manager for apprenticeships. So my role is to look after the standards across the brands that we have at VTCT Group. And so today I'm here to talk to you about a few things specifically related to hairdressing and barbering. I know a lot of you will be looking forward to hearing about some new information about the new standards. But I'm firstly going to look at how you will work with us as an endpoint assessment organisation. And then I'll run through the updates of what the 1.2 version and the version 1.0 of the barbering looks like. I'm going to overview some of the resources that we have at VTCT Group. And then there'll be a section at the end just for some questions. And also you can send any questions to me and I can contact you directly as well. So to become an EPAO partner with us, you simply need to go to the Our Services page of the website and click on Registering for EPA. As you can see in the little snapshot that I've taken there for you, it's nice and simple from the main page. And then on this page, you'll see the relevant documents such as the benefits of working with us, the price book, and the invoicing policy. As you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see the link to the online form, and that online form is very, very simple to complete. The key things that this form will ask you are, what are the standards you're registering for? And it will also just ask you there for your public liability insurance document to be uploaded. And that really is it. It's very different from the approval process for the awarding organisation side of things. So it's nice and quick and straightforward, and then we will then manage that internally and contact you if there's anything else that is needed for your approval. So as an endpoint assessment organisation, our commitment to you are timely results. So we have our knowledge test exam results delivered out on the same day. And for an EPA practical, there is a 5-day release for the practical results as well. Now, we can give you individual apprentice feedback on request. And that will take a little bit longer than 5 days, just because all of that has to be moderated internally. But that is available to you if you do request that on booking. Our bookings for endpoint assessment are nice and quick, and we work with you as we understand the process of organising. That is not always very simple. So you have the apprentice to work with and the employer. And in our industry, being a hairdresser myself, you know, to take them out of the salon for a day is quite a lot to ask. So we do always kind of suggest to give us an options of dates for you, and then we can work them out with what's better for you, the apprentice and the employer. Now, that is all done with our dedicated EPA booking team, with a team of experts that will, as I say, work with you to make sure that everything is effective and efficient, and to get it all done in a nice, timely manner. Within that team, we have our sector specialists on the hairdressing and barbering side, and across all the sectors that we do work on. Now, for the knowledge test, we have sample knowledge tests at level 3, and those knowledge tests have a resit window of 7 days. And you will probably know, if you already work with us, that you have a personal account manager for direct contact. Now, you will have a few different points of contact, mainly will be your key account manager. But if you really do use us for a lot of endpoint assessment and apprenticeships, then you'll most likely know who I am by this point, and you'll most likely know who your booking team member is on the internal side in our EPA team. Now, there is no fee for becoming an EPA partner, and our EPA fees are only charged on point of scheduling the EPA. As you may already know, you can choose to use us as your EPAO at any time, even if you haven't used VTCT Group for your on-programme qualifications. We can go to the next one, please, Mark. So, within the hair and beauty sector, we do have these 3 hairdressing and barbering apprenticeship standards. So you'll be familiar with these. We have hair professional at level 2. That's the hairdressing side, and we also have obviously the barbering side at level 2. And then we do also run the advanced and creative hair professional at level 3. Thanks, Mark. All right, so I'm going to overview some of the changes to the new hairdressing professional standard. Now, this one was released in the 23rd of May, and it is now called version 1.2, and you'll see that on any IFA information. The version number has changed, and this is one because it's new and being revised, but it's also now separate from the barbering. So rather than one standard with 2 pathways, they are 2 separate standards now. So any apprentice registered on the qualification on or after this date will then be attached to the new funding band of £11,000, which is, as I've heard from every single person who takes on this standard, or even employers of this standard, that funding band is very greatly received. And we've had some changes along the time with that funding band. So to have it back up to £11,000, well, it's never been £11,000. We then have a lot more opportunity within the delivery of this standard. So to overview some of the changes that we've had during the on-programme stage, the changes to the qualification are minimal. The rules of combination have changed for the optional units. And in the most previous version, the rules of combination stated that the apprentice must pick out one of the 3 optional units. These were perming, relaxing, or extensions. Now, the apprentice must choose one optional unit from either perming or relaxing. And the apprentice can still choose to do extensions if they would like, but this would be an extra optional unit. So it's slightly confusing, but the top line is they do have to do either perming or relaxing as an optional, and they can choose to do extensions as well if they like. So then at the gateway stage, the evidence is much the same, with the addition of a portfolio of evidence. This portfolio of evidence underpins the professional discussion at EPA, and there are 2 areas to cover in the portfolio of evidence. The requirements to cover in this portfolio are K7 and B7, and they cover the hairdressing industry. And then you have K10, K12, K13, K16, S6, S7 and S10, and they cover the ways of working, legal and organisation. Now, for those of you that have previously delivered the ACHP, Advanced Creative Hair Professional, you might feel like this professional discussion could be similar to that. And really, I'm just giving you the top line information on what's required here in this professional discussion and this portfolio of evidence, because it is significantly different. This isn't looking at any hair work that's been done. There's no collection of looks involved in this. It is purely two sections, one being the hairdressing industry and one being ways of working, legal and organisation. Now, further information on those KSBs required for the portfolio of evidence, therefore the professional discussion, can be found on the IFATE website. And eventually we will be releasing our EPA guidebook, which is everything is taken from that EPA plan and then broken down into the EPA guidebook, which we are working on currently. So the biggest difference with this standard is the endpoint assessment. So previously there was only one assessment method. There are now 3. These assessment methods can be taken in any order. So we have a 1-hour multiple choice knowledge test.
Hello, I'm in a meeting. Sorry.
There is a 1-hour multiple choice knowledge test, and the knowledge test consists of 40 multiple choice questions. The practical observation is 5.5 hours long, and this includes shampooing, styling and finishing hair, cutting and restyling on 2 clients, and colouring and lightening hair on 1 client. Now, again, all those KSBs that are going to be covered in much, much more detail are on the IFATE website under the EPA plan. And as I mentioned before, we will be using all of that information to create a new and updated endpoint assessment guidebook, as we do for all the standards. And in there will include those KSBs that need to be covered and all of that detail behind that. Then the third assessment method is the 35-minute professional discussion, which is underpinned by that portfolio of evidence we were just talking about there. And this can be done online, as this is a one-to-one discussion. The apprentice can bring in their notes if they need, and the professional discussion is recorded for moderation purposes. Now, one thing to note about the new standard as well is that previously the cap for the amount of apprentices you could have on one endpoint assessment day was 8, and this has now changed to 5. So you can technically have 5 apprentices on one endpoint assessment day. Now, as I've already mentioned, those 3 assessment methods can be delivered in any order. And so when you look at the running of the day, it is going to be very, very unlikely, near on impossible, to run 5 apprentices with their practical observation for 5.5 hours each, and then a 35-minute professional discussion as well on that same day. So something to remember is that if you have a smaller group, say 2 or 1 or 2, you would be able to fit in that professional discussion for both of those apprentices. But if you are at 5, just to know that you can run that professional discussion on another day, either before or after the practical observation. So yeah, key to remember is the 8 apprentices cap has dropped to 5, and those assessment methods can be completed in any order. Thanks, Mark. All right, so we just covered the update hairdressing professional version 1.2. Now we're going to give the overview of the barbering professional version 1.0. The reason this is 1.0 is because it was always part of the hairdressing standard and was a pathway within that. Now it is the first version of it being a standalone. And this standard was released on the 22nd of May, has a funding band of £9,000, which is fantastic. And any apprentice registered on that qualification on or after this date will be attached to that new funding band and the new EPA plan. Something to just note here is that if your apprentices were registered on the qualification prior to these dates, they will still be attached to the previous funding band and the previous EPA plan. So both are running in conjunction with each other at this time until the apprentices attached to the previous retired standards all kind of finish up, and then there'll only be one running. But just to let you all know that if you weren't sure. So the key updates with the on-programme stage, there have been no changes to the on-programme qualification for this standard. So that's nice and simple. Now at gateway stage, the evidence again is much the same, but we do have a portfolio of evidence to upload in this because we do have a professional discussion at endpoint assessment. Much the same as the hairdressing professional, you're covering two sections, which is ways of working, and you're also covering front of house and client care and customer service. And you're also going to be covering the barbering industry. I have got those KSBs, so for K11, K16, K32, S2, S4, S9, that is your ways of working for front of house. You've then got K14 and K15. They cover ways of working, which is client care and customer service. And then finally, you've got K8, K9, K12, S5 and B2, and they will cover the barbering industry. So there is a little bit more to work on this professional discussion portfolio of evidence. And the reason being is because this one is slightly longer. So this one is 45 minutes, whereas in the hairdressing professional, it's 35 minutes. Again, the same with the hairdressing. We take all of that information in the EPA plan from IFE, and we will be creating an EPA guidebook so that you can reference that much quicker. So at endpoint assessment here now, as before, we had one assessment method. We have now got three. So we have got a knowledge test, a practical observation, and a professional discussion. The same with the hairdressing professional. These can be delivered in any order. So there is a 30-minute multiple choice knowledge test, and this has got 20 multiple choice questions in this one. The practical observation is a 3¼ hours long and includes a barbering technical element to be completed on 2 clients, covering cutting and finishing services, and a shaving service on 1 client. So further detail on those KSBs are in that EPA plan, and again, we will be using all of that for our EPA guidebook. Now with the professional discussion, obviously mentioned before the portfolio of evidence and the KSBs required to underpin that, but this one is 45 minutes and this can as well be done online. Now with this standard as well as the hairdressing, the cap has changed. So the cap for this standard is 5, and the same applies with having them in any order, and depending on the group size that you have would be the logistical bookings of how that would all work for you. And as I said right at the very start, we would work with you on organising all of that. Thanks, Mark. Okay, so here we have a very brief table for the prices of the new endpoint assessments for the new standards. So with the new revised standards that were released in May, there are now 3 assessment methods, as we've just gone over. So when taking this into consideration, along with the other variables around the revised standards, the cost of the revised standards is now different to the cost of the retired standards. Now, what you can see from the sliding scale here is that the more apprentices you have on one day, the less cost per apprentice this becomes. And as mentioned before, with the cap now being 5, this means that it is unlikely that there will be capacity to have all 5 apprentices complete their observation with questions and their professional discussions on that same day. So we would then work with you to coordinate the 5 professional discussions to be delivered on another day, and that is included in this price here. So with the cost, if you have any questions, do just send me an email and I can talk you through those. Thanks, Mark. So we're coming to the end of my slides now. So what is included in our endpoint assessment service? So much like the community that you've created here with the collective, we do pride ourselves on supporting and engaging with our community, be that online or with live networking meetings, as I say, or such of these collectives, which are absolutely fantastic. We run surgeries bi-monthly for hairdressing and then beauty on the opposing month. And then we also have, across our whole standard portfolio, surgeries to support our customers and therefore being able for them to support their apprentices. And these are a great opportunity to come and network, receive the most up-to-date FAQs that we might have been receiving if we notice any trends, but also for you to share good practice and really ask questions to those people that are also doing exactly what you're doing. And they are fantastic opportunities to ask any sector specialist questions as well, as we do have our sector specialists on those surgeries also. One of the other most beneficial things that we have within our EPA service are our toolkits and key documents, such as, I've referenced it many times now, our EPA guidebook is really like the Bible for every standard. And all of that information is taken from IFATE, from the EPA plan, and broken down for you. Some of the other documents that we do create for you based on all of that information that the Institute do provide to us are any FAQ documents that we might have built ourselves from questions that you've been bringing to us. We have professional discussion guidance, which again is kind of broken down those KSBs into more detail. We also have sequence documents, just an example of how you may want to run your day if that's something that your apprentice is finding hard to coordinate. And most recently, we've created what's called a standard summary document, and I did include those on the slides previously, and they are just a very top line breakdown of each standard and what is required at on-program, gateway, and endpoint assessment stage. And they're a brilliant tool to use with your employers and your apprentices as well. Now, we use an online management system to upload all of your documents for Gateway, and it's a really nice and simple system to use. This is where you'll also find all of your resources and exam results. And our dedicated EPA administrative team are on hand to provide any guidance on using the systems at any point of the EPA process. Thanks, Mark. So really, this is me finishing up here. So here are my contact details. You've got my email there and my telephone number. And I really do encourage anyone to give me a call, send me an email, send me a text. You can WhatsApp me, whatever is easiest for you. I think one of the most important things that we always reference here at VTCT Group is we've all been in many of your positions, and we know what it's like day to day. So please do contact me in your most convenient way if you have any questions on apprenticeships or endpoint assessment. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Nicola.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Jodie. Just before you go, Jodie, I'm just going to put it out to everybody just to see if there are any questions for you at the moment. Janet has come back and said thank you, Jodie.
Lovely to see you, Janet.
Well, there
yes,
doesn't
and
seem... Sorry.
I've just got another question here. Yes, our endpoint assessors do come out and do EPAs on Saturday, Sunday, every day in the week.
Brilliant. And again, just to reiterate, if you want to contact Jodie directly, her email is there on the screen. It's jodiejones@vtctgroup.org.uk.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jodie.
Yeah, and Gordon's come back and said, thank you, Jodie, very enlightening about the EPA process. Brilliant, thank you. Okay, so now we're just going to hand back over to Nicola, who's going to talk to us about some of the industry events that we're going to be involved with.
Okay, thanks, Mark. So this is a new section that we've designed for the monthly collective. I really wanted a jingle with it, but it's not, we're not quite there yet. But we really want to be able to share with you all of the latest industry events that are happening, and on many of the occasions, particularly including the ones that we have today, we have some exclusive either ticketing, opportunities, or first to hear about information for our community. So I'm going to start by handing over to Victoria Miller from L'Oreal Professional, who's going to talk to you about the latest news and updates from L'Oreal that would hopefully be relevant to you guys. So over to you, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Nicola. So my name, as Nicola's kindly said, is Victoria Miller. So for anyone out there that doesn't know who I am the National College Coordinator for L'Oreal Professional. So my job and my responsibility is to work in partnership with colleges and training providers at large across the nation, but also to look at where we can align with the curriculum and also look at what your wants and needs are for education. Which brings me nicely onto an event that we will be doing in November. So just to give you a little bit of context into the event, we will run roughly around 4 online sessions a year, open to any college or any training provider. And it was based on the wants and needs that we have on our national roundtable at the start of the year. So we speak to college lecturers and to training provider educators and ask them what it is that they would actually like to see from L'Oreal Professional, and we build an education program around this. So just in July we had the Pulp Riot event where we had 250 participants that came on and seen creative colour with Pulp Riot, and basically got an insight into some of the actual artists that we use within Pulp Riot as well. Why Pulp Riot? When you're probably asking, when I'm under the umbrella of L'Oreal, I work for the professional products division. So that is Matrix, Redken, Pulp Riot, L'Oreal Professional. So I work across all brands, just so that you know that. So we are going to be hosting a brand new online session in November, and I'm just going to share my screen so that you can see basically what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to share this. It's saying that I can't share my screen, Nicola. You can't share your screen while other participants are sharing.
Mark, can you come off ours? Mark is controlling ours, so hopefully he's come off our screen now to allow you to share yours.
You should be able to
that's
share now.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. So I'm just going to pull this up so everyone can see. And Nicola, if you can just let me know that you can see this would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, we can see it.
Amazing. Now I can't see it. Why is
Now
that?
it's gone. It was there.
What's going on? Right, okay, let me just double check this. Can we all see that now?
Yes, we can.
Amazing. So within L'Oreal Professional, we do have an initiative called Hairstylists for the Future by L'Oreal Professional. To become a hairstylist of the future, we have certain initiatives online that you can do to become a hairstylist on future. But one of the key things that we look at is really championing sustainability within our professional hairdressing industry. So we will be launching an actual event on the 30th of October in 2023 at 6 o'clock to 6:30 to 7:30. And we are going to have an interactive webinar where you can learn about how to reduce your environmental footprint through 3 key areas, through water footprint, waste footprint, and carbon footprint. So we're going to bring our award-winning sustainability team on. They've just won the Marie Curie Award for tech in the Sustainability Awards, and they're going to do an actual event at this time, on this date, so that you can have some actionable tips, resources that are going to help you to create positive and sustainable change. Now, the reason why we've done this is because this is, again, come from the roundtable, from lecturers and also from educators of training providers, to say that they want to find out a little bit more about sustainability and what they can do. So this is why we brought our award-winning team on, so that they can do this actual event for you. So if you are interested in joining, absolutely, you're more than welcome to join. And what I will do is I will put in the chat my phone number, my Instagram handle, and also my email address, so you can reach out to me and we can get you signed up and booked onto this course. So thank you very much, guys, and I hope that I can see some of you actually at this event. Thank you, Nicola.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you. It's an amazing opportunity. Next up on our industry events update, we are joined today by the very fabulous Meg Piper, who is here today to talk about the Dream Big We Love event. Now, some of you may have be familiar with Meg because she joined us on our VTCT collective tour. She's a firecracker of passion and all things hairdressing. So over to you, Meg, to talk about the We Love event.
Thank you, Nicola. So just a quick introduction to me and who We Love are. So first of all, I'm Meg Piper, as you said. I am a behind the chair stylist. I'm also a session stylist and a educator with We Love. So We Love are a new company coming through that basically our focus is on getting people ready to sort of be in the salon and be fully trained, stylists that are literally, can take on anything in the salon. So we're trying to bridge a gap between what happened, what we learn in college to being a fully booked, fully, packed out stylist. So every 6 months we run an event, which is our international days, and they are free events for people to come along. And it's all about inspiration and inspiring you and learning a little bit on the way. This year we have got ours in September. It is all about sustainability as well. So we have some really nice guests coming along. It's at Jet Academy in Essex, which is a really lovely space for us. We've got Lorraine, who is our sustainability ambassador. She is going to be giving us all chats about how we can be more sustainable in our salons and how we can, help fight, climate change and everything. We've got a little talk from Belinda Mindset, who's going to be talking about how to be sustainable within ourselves. So one of the things that we like to say is that we are about sustainability as people know, but also about sustainability for you and your business and who you are as a person. So we've got to look after ourselves. So we're going to have Belinda there talking about it. And you're also going to have some education from the We Love international team, including myself. So I will be talking about all things colour blocking, because colour blocking is becoming the brand new trend for us. So we are going to be demoing, going through how you would do things, and I'm going to show you different colour blocking techniques. But it's all about being inspired and getting a little education together and just having a nice time. We always want these events to be really fun and interactive. They're staged events, but they're not ones where you have to sit away from us. I always encourage people to come over, come and see what I'm doing, come and see what all the rest of the team is doing, and get stuck in, and hopefully you'll learn a good amount. Like I said, it's at Jet Academy in Essex. So it is on the 26th of September. And yeah, it's going to be a great day, and I hope that some people, can come join us, come learn some things. If you would like to come and join us, I'm going to pop an email address in the chat for you to register your interest with us, and we'll be getting an email out to you very, very shortly. But that's kind of what we're going to be doing. We just want to help you all, get you all, really inspired, and yeah, learn some things on the way.
Super, thank you so much. So Meg, you pop your information details in there as well. And I'm going to talk about the other industry events that are coming up. And of course, you can all see the Salon International logo there. And I noticed in a lot of the chat, there's going to be a lot of you there at Salon International this year. So that is absolutely fantastic. VTCT, we will be there. We have a stand and we will be there for the full 3 days. Myself, Mark and Jodie will be running demonstrations across lots of different hairdressing and barbering greats over the 3 days. We will be there on hand to talk with everybody, answer any questions, just come and say hi to us. We will also be sending out, as a follow-up from this, how you can access a reduced ticket price for your learners, complimentary tickets for yourself, and also the information about how to have reimbursement from coach tickets as well. So we coach bookings. So that information will all come out. And as you can see, it's the 14th to the 16th of October. We've got our flat shoes packed and ready for 3 full-on days, and really excited to hopefully see a lot of you there. And then the final industry update that we have, there is a very well-known name, I'm sure, to everybody there, which is Andrew Barton and ABLE, which is his education programme. We've recently partnered with Andrew Barton, and his programme has now gone through the VTCT endorsement, which means that we have quality approved this programme. And very exciting, as part of this, we are doing a special one-off event called VTCT Presents an Audience with Andrew Barton. That event is going to be happening in January, and I will be making sure that you all get the information in advance about exactly where we're going to be holding this event, timings, etc. But it is going to be in January. Andrew is joining us on the November collective, so that's a date for your diary. And he will be joining us, and he will be talking to you all about the ABLE programme, his partnership with VTCT endorsement, and also giving you all the lowdown on the event. And if you are part of the VTCT Hair and Barbering community, then the tickets will be complimentary for you as well. So this is the gift that keeps on giving. So hope you've enjoyed the industry update from us. We want to make this a regular feature so that we can keep bringing to you guys every month the latest on what opportunities are out there for you. Thank you. Back to you, Mark.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nicola. I don't know if, like you, I'm feeling exhausted already. We did say that this was going to be an action-packed session, and we've had some fantastic guests on today, and those industry updates. It's great to see Megan again. Megan was on the collective with us and did some fantastic demonstration, and having Vicky from L'Oreal as well. So thank you very much. So we're just going to do a quick update on the VTCT Collective Live. As you'll remember, we did 4 events last year. This year, we're still in the planning stages. We've got 8 events coming up. And the first 2 events that we've got confirmed at the moment are Newcastle on the 21st of November. That's a Tuesday. And then on Monday, the 27th, we are going to be in Glasgow. As I say, we have got other dates that are planned, but we've just got to finalize those off, and we will be giving out the full details of the collective. Just to let you know, our tour partners, we've got Belinda Mindset. She's been mentioned a few times this morning, so she's going to be coming on tour. And we also have Pivot Point. Janet's going to be with us, and we've also got, as well, apart from the collective live events, we've also got 2 Weller events in December. They are the 5th, which will be in Manchester, and then we have the 11th of December, and that's going to be in London. And again, we will be giving out more details regarding those 2 events as well. As I said, all of the details with regards to the VTCT Collective Live will be coming out fairly soon. It's just a case we've got a few little things just to finalize off, and then we'll be giving you all of those dates. But the first one, as I said, is the 21st of November, and that one is in Newcastle. So if you're able to come along to that, we will be sending out invites. Then obviously we would love to see you there as well, along with your learners, and also if you have business partners as well. Back to you,
My
Nicola.
goodness, can you take any more information, guys? We're going to go on to the final section of today, and we're going to talk a little bit more about qualifications, some of the updates from VTCT. And I'm going to start by talking about, we are running a series of provider stakeholder consultations. And the very top headlines of this is that in England, we will talk about Scotland and the other nations separately in a second, but in England, there is a massive reform happening at the moment along all level 2 and level 3 qualifications. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but as you probably will be aware, that in England, that the government are moving towards 2 career pathways, which will be T-levels and apprenticeships, and then there has to be another vocational sort of route for those that are not suitable. So at VTCT, we are in the midst, our academic team are looking at what does this qualification landscape look like? What do the qualifications look like for the future from VTCT? And we need you for this. So if you are a provider, and well, you're all providers on here more or less, we would love to have your input into this. So these are 2 online meetings where we will be sharing with you what our plans are for the future and get your input before we submit these qualifications for funding approval. So the details are on there of the 2 dates, and for anybody who hasn't already registered, because we have had quite a large uptake of this, but the more the merrier basically. If you are interested in hairdressing, barbering and beauty, then please come along to these. My email address is on the bottom here. If you send me an email, I will send you an invite to the relevant date that you want, and we'll send this out on the follow-up as well. Such important work this, to make sure that you as providers have input and a say into what the qualification landscape looks like and what you will be delivering to your learners from 25 onwards into the future. So yeah, next slide, Mark. This is a biggie, and I'm conscious of time, but we are going to take you through the latest qualification updates. Next slide, Mark, please. So what have we been doing? So over the summer, we have been doing a complete review of all of our qualifications. And this is not only for the VRQs, this is also for the SVQs as well. So we have made quite a lot of changes to align them with all of the national occupational standards and all of the latest industry terminologies. We've changed the range statements, we've updated the language and the imagery, we have ensured that the terminology is inclusive with all of the EDI, and we have also added in all the additional information of infection prevention and sustainability where applicable. To put this into context, VRQs were first launched, God, some of them go back to 2010. We're now in 2023. There's a lot changed within the industry, and it's so important to us to make sure that we are reflective of what you guys are teaching your learners. So that's why we've done these changes. Next slide, Mark, please. There's a brand new look to them. So obviously the updated log books, the record of assessment books have all changed to reflect this. The unit content has all been updated. So visually they are very much updated. Next slide, please, Mark. I'm not going to read all these to you, but I just want to point out some key changes. So you will notice wherever possible, we have changed gendering on them, which is again reflective. I think we've heard this echoed through quite a lot of the conversations today. So for example, it will no longer be cut women's hair, it will be cut hair to create hairdressing looks. The same wherever possible, we have changed the title from saying men's hair to barbering techniques so that we are avoiding gendering any qualification. Where we have been unable to change the titles, because there are a couple that we've been unable to, and it's a very complicated process due to Ofqual and what sits on the regulatory funding, all of that type of thing, but we've changed it wherever possible. Next slide, please, Mark. Again, here you'll see we also have changed African hair types to Afro textured hair types as well. So again, continuing with our commitment to inclusion and EDI, and also being reflective of the National Occupational Standards updates as well. Next slide, please, Mark. We're not going to read all of this to you, but there are 57 qualifications in total in the VRQ programme that have been updated. Mark and I, having personally worked on this, know that the academic team have had a mammoth job to do this, but it's been a very, very worthy project, because we are now leading the way in making sure that our qualifications are up to date and reflective of current industry standards. Now, all of this information, if you are an existing VTCT centre, you will have already received this information, but we will be sending you all this information back out again as a follow-up along with these slides following this presentation, so that you can kind of look in greater detail at what we have done with it. Next slide, please, Mark. So yes, you may or may not, dependent on your centre, have already received these documents. So we have pulled together, and collaboratively we did this as teams right across the business to come up with some frequently asked questions. So for example, there are things like, I've already printed my record of assessment books off for the new term. What do I do? Are these qualifications on Manage Assess? Yes, they are. We've done the summary of the unit changes, the range statement changes, and that's across all of the areas that it's covered, from complementary therapies, beauty, hairdressing, and barbering. Now, that is a lot of information in 5 minutes, and I appreciate that if this is new information to you, then you're like, what did she just say? Mark and I, within our role of having worked on the VRQ refresh, but also within our roles as National for Hairdressing and Barbering, would like to extend any offer of support to any centres that kind of want any help with curriculum planning, want to talk to us a little bit more about the changes that have happened within these qualifications, perhaps supporting your staff with them, whatever you feel that would be relevant, then we would extend that offer to support you with any queries that you may have about these qualifications. It's a huge step forward in making sure that VTCT are at the forefront of creating first class inclusive qualifications. Now, whilst all that has been going on, we have also not forgot about the importance of our nations as well. Sorry, Mark, go back a slide. We've not forgot about our nations. And for those of you who do work in Scotland, we have just launched our new SVQ programme as well, and they are now open and available for registration. We're going to be doing a huge amount of events in Scotland. We're kicking off our tour in Scotland. Our northern team are coming to Scotland, and I believe they are coming to Fife. I think Fee is on the call today, great partners of ours up in Scotland. And the SVQ programme again has been updated fully to reflect the national occupational standards that are led by Scottish. So the Scottish National Occupational Standards, and then there is the nation's occupational standards. And our SVQ programme has been fully updated, is live and is available for registration at the moment. And if you are still wanting to run with the existing programmes rather than moving straight away to the new SVQs, they are still open for registration until the end of September as well. But watch this space for lots of updates on what we are doing with the Scottish vocational qualifications as well.
Brilliant.
And Mark, thank you.
I think one of the things that's really stood out this morning, even though there's been a lot of information, is what a great community that we're building together. And we really would like to, actively encourage you to put the invite out to colleagues and to people that to come and join us on the collective. Because obviously the more that we get, the more that we can contribute and the more that we can work together. And if you have any ideas or if you want to be a speaker or a guest then please let Nicola and I know, because this isn't about Nicola and I. This is really about the collective as a group of us working together. And I really would like to reiterate that point that Nicola was saying as well. We've been working with quite a number of colleges and having one-to-one consultations with them, and we jump on a Teams meet with them, and we'll talk about their offer, we'll talk about curriculum planning, and we can share kind of ideas with you as well on what we're seeing other colleges doing as well, that is kind of helping to kind of get a better quality offer, and also, you know, encourage more learners to join this incredible industry that we're in. I just want to quickly throw in a couple of comments that have been made. We had Darusha's from our marketing department, and she just wanted everybody to know that the VTCT stand is X110. So come down and see us. We really look forward to seeing you there. We've also had Megan. She said, thank you very much for having us on this morning, and also Vicky. But again, just to reiterate, it's been great to have you with us this morning as well. Just wanted to throw this one in quickly. Not that one. Is this Friday, there is the VTCT Pivot Point Lab webinar, and it's an introduction to the Pivot Point Lab, and it's at 1 o'clock. And we'd really encourage you, if you are starting to use Pivot Point, if you've been thinking about using it, if you don't feel that you're using it to its full potential, then we would really encourage you to jump on this webinar, because Janet will give you a really good overview of how you can use Pivot Point effectively. Because I think a lot of the time, a lot of us that have been in the education landscape for a while, we probably tend not to use it to its full potential, but there's some actually fantastic things that you can do. And there are also some new updates there as well. So I know that Janet will be sharing those with you on Friday. And finally, our next meeting, so this is a date for your diary, is going to be on the 18th of October at 10 a.m. Of course, we will be sending out the details of that as well. So again, we would really love to see you there. If you've got any suggestions, please then send them through to either myself or Nicola. One of the ways that you can do that is by our email addresses, which we've got here. You can follow us on Instagram, and you can also follow us on LinkedIn. And if you have any learners' work that you want to share on Instagram, then please tag us into it, because we will always reshare that and put that into our feeds as well, because obviously we want to promote you and we want to promote your learners as well. And if you've got, you know, any comments, any messages, you want to connect with us one-to-one, then again, use those connections to do that. So that's our emails, Instagram and LinkedIn. So before we go, both Nicola and I would like to say a massive thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate the guests that we've had with us. We had Mark and Jody, who provided some really fantastic information. Their contact details will be sent out as well. And finally, to Nicola.
Super. Just to echo everything that Mark said there, it has been so great to be back with everybody, and so great for so many of you to join us today. For those of you that weren't able to join us but are watching this recording, thank you so much for registering, and we cannot wait to see you all again soon. So thanks for joining us.